Hey my dudes, how's it hanging? It's your boy, ZNF1 here. So, canning, right? Always a great skill to have and very, very useful for food shortages or end of the world apocalyptic type shit, right? It's very true, and that's the exact reason why I wanted to, do another video on this. But today's video particularly, I want to do one on canning meats, in particular, chicken. But before we go on and get into this though, let's... Alrighty, so to get started, you're gonna need a few things first. One of those being a pressure canner slash cooker. Very, very essential for this to happen. You need to have the pressure cooker part in order for it to work efficiently, because otherwise it's not really gonna do anything and it won't be as likely to be safe. Pressure cooker is the most guaranteed way to ensure that it'll be safe to eat after, storing. Next thing you need would be your jars, so either pint size or the quart size would work. And this one we're going to be using more the quart size ones. And with those, mason jars we'll be using, obviously you would need to have bands for them and lids. Now, if you're reusing old jars, which is perfectly safe and fine as long as they're clean, what you want to do is get some new lids. The bands can be reused and washed, but however, it's generally the best overall to get new rings and lids for it, just so you can be a bit on the safer side if that's what you want. Me personally, I'm fine with reusing rings. It doesn't really bother me. It's the lids that are more what's going to have the bacteria built on them, and can't really be reused. Once you get all your stuff ready, your cans, your pressure cooker, you can also get another pot as well too to boil some water in case you want to make it look all nice and pretty before you start cooking all the meat that you're, pressure cooking, but it's not necessary though. So when you have your jars, I want to get like 2 inches of water filled up and make sure you have your little rack on the bottom because you do need that. Then once you have your jar set in, with the water, what you can do is you turn on your oven to a nice low or a medium low. So that way it's nice and warm and sterilizing everything at the same time, You can always sterilize your jars by putting in the oven on a cookie sheet at like 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 250. Let's say 200 because I'm having trouble remembering. But 200, just do it for like 5-10 minutes. Say probably 10 minutes to be on the safe side. And just plop them in, get ready. But basically just keeping those in there is to get your jars nice and warm for when you get to put the chicken in them. Once you got your chicken defrosted, I did roughly about 3-ish pounds because be shocked how many fit just even inside a pint jar. It's crazy. But so basically once you get all your chicken thawed though, take it and get it set on your cutting board, cut up, and then get a nice little bowl too to put all your pieces in. So when you're cutting the chicken, what you want to do is make sure they're nice little strips and like inch and a half roughly size pieces. Now, if you're like me, I don't really like fatty pieces, so I cut those out and just slide them away. Then, once you got that done, wash your hands, because obviously it's very, very important to do so. Then once that is done, you can start your packing of the meat inside that old can. Then some other tools I forgot to mention earlier that'll make this a lot easier and cleaner would be tongs and then the little rubber tool you generally get with canning kits to push down all of the stuff that you're trying to can. So then, you grab your little pieces with your pair of tongs and plop her in. You can also use a wide mouth funnel piece. It really does help a lot. Makes it a lot quicker, although you don't need to. I will suggest that you use some vinegar or like soapy water / hot water cloth to wipe down the rims whenever you're done though. All right, and then I don't know if any of you guys noticed while I was doing that, you can use tongs if you don't have a funnel or anything like that, or honestly, you could just use the tongs instead of the rubber tool if you don't have one or you don't want to like buy one. It can make things a lot easier though for other types of canning. So it's, if you're just going to be a dedicated canner or do it, you know, a couple times a year, it definitely can help with other things like green beans, fruits, other vegetables, etc. The trick with these is you want to leave about 1 inch and 1/4 or 1 inch and 3/4. Ours is about 2 inches because I didn't think that it's gonna, you know, take that much to fill up a whole thing. I thought it was a little less than what I needed. We had a little bit less than what we needed, and that's okay. That's not really that much of a difference. The pressuring and the cooking should take care of anything we need to worry about within that. But again, rule of thumb, you want to have like 1 inch and 1/4 of headspace or like 1 inch and 3/4 max. Next thing we're going to do before we go on, you know, start cooking it is get a little bit of salt. You don't need to add salt to this mixture, but it does help with flavor a little bit. I'd say a tablespoon of salt should be pretty good, or a teaspoon, sorry, of salt should be pretty good. And you want to make sure that it's dry. You don't want liquids when it comes to packing raw meats. You can, however, again, like I was saying earlier, if you want to make it look all nice and pretty, put a little bit of boiling water on top, then that should take care of it, you know, from looking kind of ugly, quote unquote. Now, if you want to be on the safe side, you can always use vinegar to wipe the lids down and the rings as well too. Generally, when canning, I forgot to mention this earlier, you want to either do this or you want to put your rings and lids in boiling water for like 2 minutes roughly, and that'll take care of any bacteria that might be on them. Wipe the ends and the rim, and that will sterilize anything. Now it's time to put our lid on. Never want to grab it from the bottom, only the top. You can wipe that off too so it's nice and dry. Plop her on there, then secure your ring. You do it so it's nice and tight. So that's how you know it's doing what it needs to and it's not gonna let any more air in. Alrighty, so now it's time to go ahead and put the son bitch in, grab her, and plop her in, and then get your lid. You guys know what else is a really good thing to do to help with canning your chicken? Smashing the shit out of that like button, hitting the subscribe. All joking aside though, my dudes, when you do this, it really does help me, and it also helps get us farther up in the YouTube algorithm to help people learn how to be more self-sufficient and independent of the systems we live in, to help themselves or to help provide for their families. And that's what we're all about here on this channel. But you guys do that, I appreciate you either way. Much love to you all. And you know, that being said, let's go and jump right back on into the video. Secure the lid. Make sure it's nice and tight. For this one specifically, the Presto one, you'll hear it pressurize all the air out of the system. When it goes no more, it means it's nice and set. So just an FYI and a reminder, when it comes to this stuff, anything under 1,000 feet altitude wise, or anything under 1,000 for the altitude, is generally 10 pounds of weight to cook. We have one little ring on there for 10 pounds because the little knob itself is 5. Then you want to make sure you have your stove turned on to medium. Reason why that is because you don't want it to be too high. For this, you want to cook it pretty mildly, and that's so that way the juices can stay all, you know, nice and secure in there, that will secrete from cooking the chicken in there by itself. Since we're using quart size jars, it takes roughly 1.5 hours to cook, or 90 minutes. Then if you were to use the pint sized jars, it's about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Now you'll know when it's done because it'll wobble 4 times per second, and that's the indicator. And with my pressure cooker, you'll have the little pin piece in the back just shoot up, and that'll be a sign, you know, that it's nice and good to go. Alrighty, so it's about 6:50. By the time I'm able to get back here, I'd probably be ready to stream. So I will see you guys after I get done streaming, and after all this stuff's done, I'll go ahead and talk to you about what all needs to be done next once you get outside of the pot. And don't forget to use protection and use an oven mitt or the little canning tongs to pull them out with. You'll know your chicken is done cooking whenever the little pin in the back is all the way up, and then the little weight is wobbling back and forth 4 times a second. Then once that happens, you need to let it cool off for at least a solid 30 minutes to an hour. Depends on how hot it really is. But I'd say no more than that, really. Now, once it's done and you pull it out with your oven mitts or your canning tongs, we'll see this. Make sure the chicken is cooked and that there are bubbles coming up. That's a key indicator in the process, but you need to make sure that you put this in a place when it is done where it will not be disturbed for at least overnight, but they generally recommend 24 hours. And that's generally what I do, is 24 hours. That's why I put it inside my bedroom here instead of out in the kitchen, because I knew I wouldn't get disturbed by the cat or anything like that. You know how cats be, they're like, ooh, this smells like chicken. Time to go fuck with it. That's how you know it's done and how you have correctly canned raw chicken. All right, well, that's gonna be it for today, my dudes. I do hope you guys enjoyed this and found this to be somewhat educational or enlightening on the topic of canning meats. If you guys did make it to the end, go and leave the word poultry in the comment section down below. Let me know they made it to the end and you guys are part of the 100% club. What do you guys want to see in the future? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys are interested in learning about, and maybe it's something that even I could learn about myself or learn more about. And just a reminder that it's always a good skill to learn canning because it helps you with preserving food. If you know how to preserve food, it means you don't have to go out and hunt as much, or vice versa in a given scenario, you know, once you have a settlement of some sorts established for yourself. If you can can things, you know, then you are going to last a lot longer than some of the other people out there for sure. And in situations like what we're having with food shortages, you will definitely survive and be able to provide more when you put resources into doing stuff like this. But this will be our last YouTube video on here for a while. We'll be taking a break again until late winter, early springtime. That way I can focus a bit more on my main YouTube channel. If you guys want to see that, I'll leave links for that down below. That whole channel is about exposing corruption lies within the system. The thing that here on this channel, we try to teach you to be independent of, you know, for the better of yourself and your family. We do also stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. Central Time as well too, generally. But yeah, so if you guys want to check that stuff out, go and do that. We also have the more interactive experience over there because of the streaming. You guys get to interact with me live. And if you guys want even more interactive experiences, join us every other Friday. So not this Friday, but the following Friday after. We will have movie/weeb night. If you guys want to do that, check it out and check out our Discord. All those links for my socials and that will be in the comment section down below or in the description. But until next time though, my dudes, in the late winter, early spring, please don't forget to live long and prosper. Take care and peace. Keep it 1,000,000% real, and remember, fuck the system. I will see you guys on the flip side. Yee!